Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we want to present about skill acquisition and performance on handball sport. First of all, I want to introduce my group members, which is me myself, Nur Syafiqah binti Zainal Abidin, Muhammad Adin bin Muhammad Afandi, Muhammad Iskandar bin Mat Rozi, and the last one is Muhammad Amir Akram bin Zain Azman. This video we prepared for Madam Nur Azila Azrin binti Mat Razi. Section 1, Introduction. For the second slide, I will tell you about the rules of handball. Number 1, no tackling. Number 2, no one is allowed in semicircle except the goalie. Number 3, 3-second rule, 3 strap and dribble. Number 4, pass, shoot and dribble. Number 5, free throw or penalty. Number 6, 14 players, which is 6 players on court plus goalie, 1 goalie and 7 substitutes. Number 7, landing in the semicircle is okay if you are taking a shot, but the ball has to be released before landing. Number 8, 2 periods, which is 30 minutes. Number 9, no pulling or attacker's arm. Number 10, only keeper allowed to handle the ball in their own semicircle. For the next part, you can see the dimension of handball field, which is as you can see, the size is 20 meters times 40 meters. And the ball size is size 3, size 4 and size 5. Size 3 is to people age 7 and under. Size 4 to people age 8 until 12. And size 5 to people age 13 and above. For the extra information, handball is a team sport with 7 players in a game or court. Handball game is using the hand to throw into the opponent's goal. A handball game takes 30 minutes and when the time is up, the team with the high score is the winner. A 2 minutes penalty will be imposed on players who break the rules during games. There are some skills in handball that will be discussed on fine motor skill, gross motor skill, open motor skill, discrete motor skill and cross motor skill such as shooting, jump shoot, blocking and catching. For the first skill is shooting. Shooting involves 3 motor skill, which is gross motor skill, open motor skill and discrete motor skill. For gross motor skill, the shooting skill has the gross motor skill because it involves large muscle in the body such as deltoids, forearms, bicep brachii, tricep brachii, quadricep and trapezius. For open motor skill, it is because shooting skill involves other opponents, environment and unpredictable condition. For unpredictable condition, when the athlete want to shoot the ball to the team member, the athlete will realize that the opponent can come from anywhere to stop the shooting action. This is why the athlete will decide to shoot the ball or stop and make another action such as just pass the ball to other team members. Object also can be the reason why the athlete stopped the action. For example, when the athlete was about to shoot the ball, suddenly another ball came from outside of the court. So the athlete stopped the action to avoid any unwanted injuries such as stepping on the ball and falling. For the last one is discrete motor skill. It is known as discrete motor skill because when the shooting movement starts, we know when it ends. For example, the athlete just need to stand, aim to target and throw the ball. For the second one is jump shoot skill. Jump shoot skill involve 2 motor skill, which is gross motor skill and open motor skill. For gross motor skill, the jump shoot skill has the gross motor skill because it involves large muscle in the body such as deltoids, forearm, bicep, tricep brachii, quadricep and trapezius, lower back, abdominal, hamstring and gastrocnemius. For open motor skill, It is because the jump shoot skill involve other opponents, opponent's environment and unpredictable condition. For unpredictable condition, when the athlete want to jump and shoot the ball to the goal and get the score, the athlete will realize that the opponent can come from anywhere to stop the jump shoot action. This is why the athlete will decide to shoot the ball or stop and make another action such as just pass the ball to other team members and let the team members get the score. Object also can be the reason why the athlete stopped the action. For example, when the athlete was about to jump and shoot the ball, suddenly another ball came from outside of the court. So the athlete stopped the action to avoid any unwanted injuries such as stepping on the ball and falling. For your information, the jump shoot skill is quite similar to shooting skill. For the third skill in handball is catching. Catching involves two motor skill, which is gross motor skill and discrete motor skill. For gross motor skill, the catching skill has the gross motor skill because it involves large muscle in the body such as deltoid, trapezius, bicep, tricep brachii and forearms. For discrete motor skill, it is known as discrete motor skill because when the catching movement start, we know when it ends. For example, the athlete just need to stand, wait for the ball from another team members, aim the ball and lastly catch the ball. This is that simple. Okay, we move to the next slide. The last skill in handball that I want to show with you is blocking. Blocking involves three motor skill, which is gross motor skill, open motor skill and discrete motor skill. For gross motor skill, the blocking skill has the gross motor skill because it involves large muscle in the body such as deltoids, forearm, bicep, tricep brachii, quadricep and trapezius, lower back, abdominal, hamstring, gastrocnemius, gluteal group and pectoral group. For open motor skill, it is because the blocking skill involves other opponents, the opponent's environment and unpredictable condition. For unpredictable condition, when the athlete want to block the opponent before the opponent score at the goal post, the athlete will realize that the opponent can come from anywhere to push the athlete because the athlete prevent the opponent from scoring. This is why the athlete will decide to block the opponent or not. Object also can be the reason why the athlete stopped the action. For example, when the athlete was about to block the opponent or the ball, suddenly another ball came from outside the court, so the athlete stopped the action to avoid any unwanted injuries such as stepping on the ball and falling. The last one is discrete motor skill. It is known as discrete motor skill because when the blocking movement start, we know when it's end. For example, the athlete just need to stand, raise up their hand and block the opponent. Section 2, Stages of Skill Acquisition. The athlete that we choose in handball sport is Ivano Balic. Ivano Balic is a hero Croatian handball player. He was conceived in Split, Croatia. His position is middle back. In 2010, he was considered a ballot world best male handball player. He was picked multiple times in succession for most valuable player in significant worldwide rivalries. For the next slide is the career highlight. In 2003, before playing handball, Balic prepared with the b-ball club KK Split. He started his handball vocation with RK Split. Balic was an individual from the Croatian national group that won the 2003 Men's Handball Championship in Portugal. And in 2004, he won a gold award at the 2004 Summer Olympic and silver at the 2005 World Championship in Tunisia. And in 2007, even though Croatia won the 5th spot on the 2007 World Men's Handball Championship in Germany, he was pronounced the competition MVP. In the 2008 European Men's Handball Championship, he was the equivalent top scorer with 44 objectives as he drove Croatia to a silver decoration and was likewise casted a ballot to All-Star team of competition. His playing position is focus back. In December 2000, Balik was called up to prepare for the 2001 World Championship. In preparation, Balik got harmed by attempting to get a reflected ball, to which Peter Metelisic fell on his foot and burst his tendons. On account of his injury, Balik needed to rest for 20 days and missed the World Championship held in France.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Mama Adin bin Mama Afandi, and right now I'm about to present on section 2, which is stages of skill acquisition, and the first stage is cognitive stage. Okay, so what is cognitive stage? Cognitive stage, based on Fitz and Posner's model, there are 3 stages of learning, which is cognitive stage, associative stage, and autonomous stage. These 3 stages of skill acquisition play an important part of an individual's life to improve their acquisition of motor skills in doing in any kind of activity, or even in sports. Alright, so the first stage is cognitive stage, where the main objective is to develop the overall understanding of the skill. The person must know and determine what objective and goal of the skill is, and after determining the goal or objective, the learner will have to process the environmental factors, which is the type of surface, or perhaps the presence of spectators and opponents. And during training, coaches must give their best in training the players to master a skill. For example, in handball sports, which is passing, shooting, catching, and even blocking, coaches must emphasize every step of the skill so that the players will get the clear idea on how to execute the skill. During this stage, players most rely on input and trial of errors to practice the specific skill. For example, beginner handball players will surely be a little bit awkward to execute any handball skills. So because it is because they have zero basis of the skill, so coaches must demonstrate for them the exact way before the players can try for themselves. Okay, so the characteristic of this first learning stage, cognitive stage, which the first one is the learner or the player must identify the environmental factors, which is perhaps, like I said before, perhaps the presence of spectators or opponents, or even the type of surface, which is maybe it can be a little bit slippery. The second one is demonstration must be shown for players to visualize in their mind. Coaches play an important role in this one, because they have to demonstrate the exact way so that the players can picture in their mind before they try to execute the specific skills. And the third one is must emphasize every step of the skills. This is also an important role for coaches, because they must put a little bit more effort on emphasizing every step of the skill so that the players will get the clear idea on how to execute the skills. Okay, so moving on to the second stage, which is the associative stage. Alright, so what is associative stage? Alright, associative stage is also known as the practice stage. It is whenever an athlete or learner has come to the point where they know what the objective of the skill are, and how the procedure of the skill is being executed, and when to do the task in order to achieve the purpose of the skill. Okay, demonstration and feedback are very important during this stage to help the learner improve the skill. Okay, so demonstration and feedback is very crucial in this part of the stage, because it enables the learner to correct their flaws and also improve the execution of the skill. And when the athlete refined the skill, they will be able to identify where they did wrong. So hypothetically, when the athlete is able to refine the skill, it will decrease the chance of them in making mistake. So at this point, they will be able to identify which part of the skill they need to improve if a mistake occurred. Alright, so the characteristic of the second stage, which is associative stage, the first one is the amount of practice will be based on the degree difficulty of the skills, the learner's ability, experience, and motivation. If the learner's ability is quite good, then it will be easier for them to be able to master a skill very fast. The second one is coaches will be able to identify the athlete's error in doing the skill. Well, of course, during this stage, coaches will be the only ones that can identify or witness any errors of an athlete doing a skill, which is why practice is very important, so that during the athletes practicing, coaches can monitor them and help them or correcting them in doing or executing the skill. The third one is athletes require a lot of time going through this stage. It is because athletes may require a lot of time in order to get through this stage because it is highly relies on their abilities. However, there are some that may never reach the last stage, which is the autonomous stage.
Next, on this slide, I will explain about the third stage of learning, which is called as autonomous stage. Do you guys have any idea what is autonomous stage? First of all, autonomous stage is the final stage of motor acquisition based on fixed and posture model. The first stage is cognitive stage, the second stage is associative stage, and the third stage is this stage, which is autonomous stage. It requires years of training to get into this stage, as it basically achieved by elite athlete. Last but not least, the interesting things about this stage is you can perform the skill efficiently and effectively without having to think about it. Now we're going to proceed to the next slide. This slide shows the characteristic of the autonomous stage. I will explain one by one. For the first one is performance seems unconscious, automatic, and smooth. It is because after you training for a couple of years, it improves your muscle memory to perform the skill. So that's why sometimes you perform the skill without you realize. Second point is make few error, can detect and correct the error. During the first stage, which is cognitive stage, you make many error and performance become inconsistent. You need coach instruction and demonstration to perform the skill. However, in autonomous stage, you can identify your own mistake and you can correct the mistake by yourself. Third point is attention reallocated to strategic decision making. It means that you did not have to put your attention about the skill because you have mastered the skill and all the movement become automatic. So you can put your attention more to the strategy of game or any other information such as opponent gameplay and positioning. Next, the fourth point is not all learners can reach this stage. As we have been noticed before, this stage is only achieved by elite athlete. The last point is requires minimal demand on cognitive process. Actually, this point has connection with the third point. The reason why you can put more attention to the strategic decision making is because your cognitive process only require minimal demand to perform the skill. So that's why you can use your cognitive process to engage with other tasks.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good evening to madam. So today the purpose of this video is I'm going to demonstrate to you and talk to you a little about this specific skill, which is overhead pass, and I'm going to relate it with stages of learning. In handball, there are a lot of skills that are vital to master in order to become pro player. Shooting, passing, catching, and also blocking. These 4 skills that requires a lot of practicing and involve a lot of sacrifice of your time and sweats before you're able to master it. But then again, in order to even start practicing it or executing the skills, the first thing player must do is knowing the proper way to perform the skills. For sure, in the beginning, there will be a lot of errors before being able to master it, but still, practice makes perfect. There will never be players that are so good in performing the skills in their first tryouts. So, before players learn to execute a skill, they will have to go through the learning stage process. The first stage of learning process, which is known as cognitive stage or the initial stage, is the most vital stage for a player to learn any skills in any type of sports. Before performing any type of skills, first the players will need to visualize themselves in their mind on executing a specific skills. So today, right now after this, I'm going to show you a short video of me performing overhead pass, and I will relate it with the first stage of learning process, which is cognitive stage. That is how an overhead pass looks like in handball. So the skills overhead pass consists of 3 steps. The first one is the preparation, execution, and also the last one is the follow through. So the players must visualize all of those 3 steps I mentioned before executing the skill in order for them to get the right idea on performing an overhead pass. During preparation and execution, players will visualize themselves throwing a 90-degree angle at the elbow with the ball slightly above the head, and the whole hand must be behind the ball when it is being thrown in the execution. Follow through is the last step to complete the skill and to ensure the amount of force being released. But then again, during cognitive stage, players also must emphasize the external environments, as it can influence the players on executing the skill. Too less force can result on the ball not reaching their teammates, or it can be easily intercepted by the opponents. External environments such as the presence of spectators, the type of surface being used, the distance between teammates, and also the positions of the opponents. These type of things can influence the players on performing an overhead pass. So there are 3 external factors that can help the players improve the skill in performance, which are demonstration, instruction, and feedback. In my opinion, in cognitive stage, demonstration and instruction is the most vital part in improving the execution of the overhead pass. That is because before a player learns to execute the skill, coaches plays an important role on demonstrating how the overhead pass can be done correctly. Coaches must demonstrate the correct technique and emphasize every single detail of the skill so that the players can practice it and perform it well in games. During coaches demonstrate the skills, players can imagine themselves performing the skills in their mind, and when the demonstration is over, they can continue to try it, to execute the skill for the first time and practicing it until they master the overhead pass. Comparing this sport, which is handball, to the globally marketed sports such as globally marketed sports such as football and basketball, it might lose to these sports. However, in terms of technical needs, this sport, which is handball, does not distance themselves apart from these well-marketed sports. And by looking at the professional handball players, it might seem effortless for them to execute a certain skill. However, when it is your time to step up into the field and execute the skill, performing this certain skill, suddenly it is become quite difficult, especially to the beginners who are new to these sports. Thus, for the professional handball players to make the execution of the skills look effortless, they have undergone a countless numbers of training in order to master a single skill. As we all know, mastering the skills does not take overnight, but it took a lot of efforts, our times, and also of our sweats. And by going through the 3 stages of learning, we are able to master a certain skill that we intended. But like I said before, it took a lot of your times and efforts. And now, I'm going to show you a short video of me demonstrating on how to do the jump shot skills in handball, and I will relate it to the second stage of learning process, which is associative stage. In that video, it shows the whole process of executing the jump shot skills. The first process is known as run-up. A good run-up is essential for the skills for achieving the high release speed of ball. The second process is known as takeoff contact, and it occurs when the shooter needs to jump from the ground. A great takeoff contact will enable the shooter to have a great angle for them to shoot the ball, to shoot the ball between the blockers. Moving on to the next one is the shooting process, and obviously for the last process, known as follow through, is essential because it ensures ourselves from getting injured when dissipating the force. In associative stage, the athletes had already known the basic needs of the skills. In this stage, it is more about refining or perfecting the execution of the skills, and due to the understanding of the basic needs, it will lead to fewer errors, and the athletes can also identify their own mistakes by themselves. The athletes now can do a decent techniques of jump shot, and if they made a mistakes, they will able to identify it immediately. However, feedback from the coaches are also valuable to them, because the coaches might notice a minor error that the athletes could not notice. Thus, the athlete may adjust their technique according to the feedback from the coaches.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. Today I'm going to show you guys how to perform shooting skill in handball. Let's go. Welcome back. I have changed my clothes because I am very excited to demonstrate to you the skills. But before that, I would like to explain a little bit about the technique. Okay. The technique is simple. It is just same as overhand pass, but the difference is it requires greater amount of force during execution compared to overhand pass. Because overhand pass is the objective is we want to pass the ball to our teammates, but shooting the objective is we want to score the goals, which means we didn't want the goalkeeper to save the ball or tap the ball from going in. So that's why we need greater amount of force and high speed
of ball movement to enable the goalkeeper from reaching the ball. Okay, without wasting time, I will demonstrate the skill. Let's go.
So this is preparation phase. First of all, use your fingertip to grip the ball, and then put your weight on your back foot. After that, you use your other hand to point at the targeted area. Execution phase is where you need to fully extend your arm and swing as hard as you can to create greater amount of force and power. So during the execution phase, you need to step to a target and don't forget about the rotation of your shoulder during the swing. Follow through is the last phase, which is basically important to ensure safe dissipation of force after execution. So during this phase, you need to bring your weight forward and don't forget to continue throwing your arm in a downward relaxed motion.
Alright guys, we have come to an end. I hope all the information given are useful for those who try to learn shooting skill in handball. That's all from me. Majulah sukan untuk UITM. Thank you.